Good day, everyone. Today we're going to talk about the black screen in Kali Linux. This is an issue that affected me when I was trying to install Kali Linux in Virtualbox. I downloaded the ISO and basically tried to install it. And after the installation, basically what happens is that it allows you to choose Kali Linux, but then after that, the screen just becomes black and nothing you can do that could actually fix the problem. Okay, so at this point I decided to actually head on to Google and then do a search on Kali Linux Virtualbox black screen. As you can see, we have about 443,000 searches on this issue. Now I don't have the number as to what is the total number of users that use Kali Linux. You have to keep in mind that Kali Linux also is a very specialized operating system. It's basically packaged with all of the tools necessary for penetration testing, which is unbelievable. There's others out there as well, but this one, the one that we're talking about right now, is Kali Linux. And well, like I say, this is also gonna be depending on your system's configuration, and which I will discuss here next, just to show you what I have, and then I don't know, maybe you could use that as a comparison for you as well. Okay, here's my system configurations. As you can see, it's pretty much straightforward. It's basically a HP notebook. It has an Intel i5 5200 units, and then it has 8 gigabytes of memory. I have a Samsung SSD 250 gigs of storage, and then I also have an Intel HD graphics 5500 that is part of the motherboard. This may or may not be your hardware configurations, but if it is, at least you have a starting point as to what you want to do from here. So these were basically the three most suggested solutions that I came across. I visited different sites to see what was going to be the proposed solutions. Okay, these three sort of like kept popping up for me. I kept going to different places, and then I saw this, etc., etc., etc. As you can see, the first one was to choose the correct OS configuration for the Virtualbox. Then the second one was to enable virtual technology for Intel-based machines, or hardware virtualization for AMD-based machines. And then the third one was basically to add the mode set equals 0 parameter to the group settings. And I will show you that a little bit more in detail, because it requires that you prefix it with the correct hardware configurations that you have for your machine. So I'll show you here how those are going to be implemented. Okay, so here we are inside of Virtualbox, and I'm going to show you of the three suggestions. The first one was to choose the right configuration for your Virtualbox, and that is basically software wise. So inside of Virtualbox, before you install any operating system in that particular Virtualbox, Virtualbox allows you to choose if it's going to be Windows, if it's going to be Unix, if it's going to be Linux, and then it also allows you to choose other parameters, and I'll show you. So for this one of the suggestions was to choose the right configuration. So I'm going to go to the machine settings, and then over here I have the name Kali Linux 2020.4, something that is significant. It basically matches the operating system that is installed in that Virtualbox. And then I have Linux, and then it's the Debian 64-bit that matches the operating system I was installed on this Virtualbox. Then also over here in system, you go over here. I usually make my Virtualboxes with enough memory. It doesn't give me a problem with my system's hardware configurations. And then I usually give it about 4 megabytes of RAM. Then I go over here and then I choose 2 CPUs, and then here's the other part, the acceleration, the enable acceleration. As you can see, I'm enable it or disable it, but it's already enabled, so I left it as that. And I usually also give it the highest video memory that I could do. There were other suggestions, and one of them I did not list over here, but it was also to enable or disable 3D acceleration. It didn't matter. If you have it enabled, you still get the black screen. If you have it disabled, you still get the same thing. Okay, so that will actually cover the first two suggestions. Now we're going to basically go over the third suggestion, which is a little bit more, it requires a little more, and I'll show you. I will even give you the website as to where I obtained that suggestion. Okay, so I'm going to double click on the box, and I'm going to basically just wait for the grub installations. So as it comes up with the grub, you press the E key. All right, at this point, what the suggestion requires or implies is that and here it is, let me show you to you guys briefly, that you're gonna go over here, and then you're going to from that area where I press the E key, is going to take you into the scrub, which is the grub actually, which is this area right here, which is the area behind my browser screen. Okay, then what happens at this point, what they suggest is that once you get into the grub configuration area, that you actually scroll down to the line that starts with Linux and end with Splash, and then at that particular point they suggest that you give it a space, and then you add this parameter. Okay, so now as it says over here, the quadruple X is the name of your graphics cards. In my case, I have an Intel based motherboard, so I will give it the i915 parameter. Okay, so here I'm going to actually do it at the grub configuration. So over here I am here, and I'm going to basically scroll down to the line that they're talking about, which is this one right here, and then I'm going to scroll all the way to where that area, to the end of that line. Okay, as you can see, it says quiet splash. At this point, we're gonna come over here, and then we're going to basically be here, and then we're gonna give it a space. On that space, we are going to add the correct parameter for our network card. Like I said again, in my case is the i915, which is for Intel based motherboards. And then I'm also going to do a that mode set, and then it's going to be equal 0. Okay, so what's going to happen at this particular point, I'm going to basically press I'm going to press Control X to save the change and then reboot with that configuration. Okay, so as you can see, this is the third suggestion, and I'm about to issue the Control X command, and you will see that it will be no difference. It will be the same problem. Okay, so here we are, Control X. I'm going to allow the machine to reboot, and as you can see, flashes, and that's all you get. Okay, so at this point I covered the 3 suggestions. I hope that they were informative to you. Hopefully you could also find others. But now I'm going to go into the actual solution, or at least the workaround that I use to be able to use Kali Linux. And I'm not going to give you a drum roll or anything, but I will see you here on the next scene, and I will tell you exactly what I did. So finally, here we are, and this was my actual solution. As I was searching on the internet for the solution to the black screen, one of the suggestions was to utilize the VMware Workstation, which is a virtualization software, but it's also provided for personal use over here. So I decided to download it and install it in my Peppermint Ubuntu machine, correct? And then so one of the things that I did, As you can see, I have a Kali Linux VMware 386. I actually went to this website called Offensive Security, as you can see, it's right here, and then I downloaded an actual VMware image for Kali Linux, which is this one right over here. Okay, and it tells you the version as well, and it also gives you the SHA 256 sum for those of you who wants to validate that you downloaded the file that you intended to download. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how that virtual machine actually opens up, and I'll show you the differences, and you could see it on your own. Here you go. Here we go. So here's the virtual machine, and it's going to allow me to choose Kali Linux, which I did, and then basically it's going to load the software. That's probably going to take maybe less than a minute, and then it will also allow me to enter the username and password. Now for these images, they are all set up to Kali for the username and Kali for the password. Okay, so here we are. We're going to basically enter the username, which is in this case is Kali, and then the password is also Kali. Press enter, and here we are. Here we are inside of the Kali Linux operating system. As you can see, it's a pretty it's the same exact thing as if you had loaded on a regular machine. This is just for your virtual environment. Over here you could do testing, you could do different things, you could give the operating systems a test drive, as you will, to see what it does. But as you can see, you have all of the tools that come with it. This thing's loaded with tools for penetration testing and information assurance as well. It's heavily loaded. It runs pretty fast. There's no issues basically with this software. So I hope that this was somehow helpful to you guys. I'll see you in the next scene with the closing remarks. Okay, so here we are with the end of the video basically. And I tell you, I wish that I had been able to find the exact reason why this black screen occurs. I want to add something else. I installed Kali Linux in an old Dell machine that I have, and basically I don't have any problems. It runs just as well as it runs in the virtual machine. And then so it must be something perhaps in relation to Virtualbox, or maybe video drivers. I'm not sure. Now if you are in a crunch, you're trying to use virtualization software to test certain things, and maybe this could help you because you may or may not have the time to try to isolate and identify the exact problem. Okay, but at the end of the day, well, a workaround served its purpose, and that was my workaround. That was my solution. So hopefully this will be of help to you guys as well. And ultimately, I would like to say thank you for watching, and also if you have any comments, make sure that you put it in the comment section. You might be able to help other people that's watching this video as well. Again, smash the like button and subscribe if you can, so that way we can continue to grow this channel and keep providing information that might be of help to some people. Thank you.